As we are aware, perspective is how we perceive, how we interpret the world, how we respond to life, and as it pertains to our business, we need to have we need to gain a correct perspective on the business that we have. The other thing we want to accomplish tonight is that we want to gain a fresher and a better conceptual understanding of it because that helps us to it puts the why behind what it is we are doing, and it gives more meaning and value to the process that we are engaging in being able to build our businesses. And then the third thing, we want to be able to look at strategic and methodical ways in how we can all execute it in a way that is accessible and reachable and attainable for pretty much all of us without being stressful, without being having to overreach, and without feeling burdensome by the way we're doing our business. And in speaking to members of the team, I get that feedback from quite a number of folks that it tends to feel, it comes to a point where it feels burdensome and it feels to one measure of degree, it becomes stressful. And a lot of us, we end up quitting and falling away by the wayside. And we started the business for a reason. And the end of it all, while it may have good value in there in terms of being able to serve and to help people, but we all came onto the business because we all need to improve our financial position. And we all need to improve our financial position with the world that we're living in today. I want to say to us that Super Patch affords us to be able to do that in a very reachable and a very incredible way. And so that's why we're going to go through looking at perspective, conceptual understanding, and a new strategy and approach of how we can do that. And I'm going to get ready to share my screen now. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to go through the information. Please take notes because some things are going to be noteworthy. And at the end, it's going to all come together in the end. And then we're going to open up for any questions that anyone may have about all that we're going to present. And so let me begin by sharing my screen now. So recently, in more recent times, the CEO, Jay Dhaliwal, has called our business, what Superpatch is offering the world, a blue ocean business for entrepreneurs. And it's significant that it is for entrepreneurs because we need to be business minded about it, because it is a business. And that is the beginning of the perspective, the correct perspective that we want to have being involved in it. And for people who have not been in business, it may be somewhat of an adjustment in terms of mindset. And that's okay because it's simple enough that we all can, work our way into that. Superpatch, as we're all aware, is presenting a new paradigm of wellness and a completely new approach to improving wellness and performance and overall health. And I think it warrants us also engaging a new approach, a new perspective, and a new understanding as we enter into this new paradigm of wellness. Because when it comes to our type of business, which we'll be talking about, many people are struggling with it. And it doesn't have to be that way. When we consider this blue ocean business that Superpatch is offering us, It is all built on and structured into the CEO's vision, which is to build something generational that will transform the world. That is important because each one of us will have a vision for our own lives. We may all have our own purpose for why we may be going about doing what we are doing in our engagement in our super patch businesses. But we will find that it will all, in one way or another, connect to this overarching vision to build something generational that will transform the world because we're all, to whatever degree, heading in the same direction in our own way. And so we all can interconnect to this. The other thing is, and he's trying to build something that is going to outlast him. And that's important because when it comes to these type of businesses, many of us have had the experience of seeing many of them come and go. And there are different reasons why that might be so. But for those of us, especially those of us who are new, you would have to lean on the confidence of myself and the other leaders to be able to trust that the business is structured in a way and that it is solid. And if there are any questions about that, you'll have an opportunity to ask. But I want you to know that what Jay Dhaliwal is building for us as a business, the infrastructure that he has laid down and that he has framed his business in, is to ensure that it is generational and that it would outlive him. For us, what that means is that we can be confident that what we are going to be building is something that is actually a willable business. It's a legitimate business that we can will and pass on to the next generation. When last have you been in a conversation with anyone where they're talking about leaving a legacy or leaving an inheritance? That's not a very common conversation these days because many people are not in positions to be able to leave an inheritance. A lot of the times we leave debt for our children to carry on with. Far less leave a legacy. But I want us to begin to assimilate that into our hearts and into our minds that while we are building our own individual businesses and building it collectively as a team and as a unit, that we are building something that is going to last beyond us. And we are going to be able to leave an inheritance and a legacy because our super patch business has the potential and the capacity to be able to do that. And it's not difficult, as you'll see, of how we can do that. And I'm going to lead off by looking at some of the parameters of the type of business we're in. We're going to look at some of the behind the scene or the undercurrents that are necessary to incorporate in order to keep the flow of this business going. And then we're going to look at the very model itself and some methodical strategies that we could implement with very much ease and how we can make it work. And so a blue ocean business, people are not necessarily familiar with the term. And so it's important that we understand what it is. Blue ocean it refers to a business strategy. It was coined back in the early 2000s by a couple of professors who wrote a book about a blue ocean strategy. And it's all about how to bring a business to the market where you don't have to be competing for the market space. And so there are two arenas in business, the red ocean and the blue ocean. And the blue ocean business is where people are competing in the market space. As it pertains to our business is in the direct selling industry. And the direct selling industry, well, here in America, there are 1,000 direct selling companies or network marketing companies, and there are about 6,000 plus across the globe. That industry is what we are in. And a red ocean industry is one where people are competing for market share. They're competing for existence. They're There's price wars. There is the exploiting of the demand. There's a, a whole tug of war that's going on. And it's kind of like a bloodbath. So this is why they call it a red ocean. There's a lot of casualties. People fight to win attention and loyalty. That is the normal market space. A blue ocean market does not participate in the red ocean. A blue ocean company, a blue ocean business creates an uncontested market space. It is creating a market space that didn't exist before. So when you hear Jay say we are one of one, that's what he means. That the market that we are in, the market space that Superpatch has created, no one else is in that space at this time. And so it makes competition irrelevant. This is important for us to know because we are not competing. And when people say, oh, how does that compare to this supplement, that, there's nothing that compares with it at all. And so we are creating and capturing a new demand. We are not trying to exploit demand. And what makes a super patch stand unique are these very five things. There are other things that are built into what they call a blue ocean strategy. But the primary points, super patch fits them all. We don't participate in the red ocean markets. We need to be aware of that. There's no direct competition. So competition is irrelevant. We have to set it in our minds. We are not competing with anyone, nor can anyone compete with us because there is nothing else that's like what we have. We have to become very clear about that. So we are creating and capturing a brand new demand to fill a need of which there is such huge demand, but we are filling that need in a way that no other company is able to fill. And so it creates a whole new different approach. And as a blue ocean company, when you have something that is rare, when you have something that is unique, in the red ocean, the price goes up because you're a one of a kind type of a thing. You have a unique formula, you have a unique packaging, you have something that is unique, and the price go up. In blue ocean markets, value is resought. And although it's rare, it breaks that traditional trade-off high pricing. So we have something that is so powerful, so profoundly unique, but yet it is such a low and accessible price. That's one of the hallmarks of a blue ocean company. Superpatch, if it were in the red ocean competing, it could easily set its price high. And we don't have to fight to win attention and to fight to win loyalty, fight for customers as we build our global and expand globally. We are more in customer transformation because the way how we meet the needs of people, it is more empowering to the consumer than it's just selling a product just for a short-term fix. Superpatch is not what they're offering. It's not a fad just for a fix. It is transformational. And so when Jay says we are one of one and that we are a blue ocean business, understand that we stand apart from all that's happening in the direct selling industry. And just for information, the direct selling industry or the network marketing industry, it's a 200, currently 2025, I think is about a $225 billion industry. And the companies that are at the forefront of it are companies that are offering wellness solutions. And Superpatch has brought to the world a wellness solution that is unlike anything that currently exists, and it offers humanity a way of addressing wellness in an empowering way. So much so that some of us have not even caught it as yet, but it's so empowering to the consumer that it is going to become transformative. We are addressing the wellness needs in a way that no other company is able to do. There's no pharmaceutical company that has the reach that we have in terms of what we can address, the way we can address it, and the effectiveness in which we can address it, no pharmaceutical giant on the planet could even stand next to Superpatch in terms of doing that. I wanted to emphasize that so we could understand this is the company that you have invested into to build a business. And the CEO has built an infrastructure and built a platform and a framework around it to protect it so that it could become generational and so that you and I, that we can build a long-lasting business where we can leave a legacy and an inheritance. That's what we have with Superpatch. When it comes to network marketing, people shy away from it because of how things might have been in the past. And people cower away. Some of us, we go out into the field and we want to share what we have. And people say, is this one of those networking things? And we step back because we need to be bold and say, it absolutely is a network marketing business, which is the most efficient and effective distribution system that exists on the planet, validated by the best business minds in the world, not what Superpatch is saying. Network marketing is the most effective distribution system of business that exists. The concept is what businesses all over the world use. Now, there have been people, and there are companies today still, that use the concept and they structure their compensations in ways that may not necessarily fully benefit the field as much as it benefits the company. And then it may be built on questionable ethics. But with Superpatch, we don't rely on third-party science, third-party information as to if something is good or not. We don't need somebody else's research to say this ingredient or that ingredient has been found to do X or Y and it's good, and so we put it in our formula and we may not even know who did the research. Superpatch owns the technology and we do our own clinical trials, clinical studies, our own research. Everything is all Superpatch branded. As I said, it's all in keeping with not just being a blue ocean business, but it's all in keeping with he's building something that is going to be unshakable. Nobody must be able to come in and point the finger and say, this is that and that is that, and to pull it apart. He's trying to make it. And when you hear him speak, and in time to come, you'll have that opportunity, he's trying to make it bulletproof for us. And so far, even though the company is in its third year, look at the growth that it's happening because of the technology. So multi-level marketing, as it's also called, is often mistaken as a hierarchy. But at its best, it's a living ecosystem where growth multiplies through relationships, and every connection brings life to the whole. I want to begin to build the perspective in our minds of what this business is, because this business is regulated by the Federal Trade Commission and the Direct Selling Association. This is not, when people say, is that a pyramid scheme? The people that say that have no idea what they're saying. Oh, this is one of those pyramid schemes. I bet you that those people are broke. The majority, if not all of them, are broke. And they have no idea what a pyramid scheme is, because a pyramid scheme is an illegal system. This is a bona fide business that uses a method of distribution on a global scale that has been embraced by the biggest of the companies and some of the most wealthy people on the planet. If they mean it's a pyramid because they think it's a top-down approach, that's not so. Network is not a top-down, it's not a hierarchy. But is it shaped like a pyramid when you look at the structure? Every institution on the planet, from the government to every social institution, religious institution, economic institution, they all are shaped that way. But we are not locked into an institution. We have global reach. And it's not a hierarchy as in a top-down system of function as how hierarchies work. And it's important for us to understand that thinking of it more as an ecosystem is where different elements, be it animals, plants, humans, where different components come together that are mutually supportive of each other to be able to foster growth and development within the environment. That's what we have. And because it's built on relationships. In network marketing or multi-level marketing, no one stands above another. The way how the system works is that one person can actually rise above another. In a hierarchy, that doesn't happen. Everyone stands together and we are all rooted in shared purpose and we rise collectively. Now, the thing is, if we understand how it works and we do it the right way, we will all rise together, and it can be done simply. We just need to have the perspective and the conceptual understanding of what it is. But here's what I want to suggest, and I want to put it out as we begin to reshape the way how we look at this. Multi-level or network marketing resembles not just an ecosystem, but ones that we can relate to. For example, the way the human body is designed and the way it functions. There's 70 trillion cells in our bodies, and each one is an individual unit of life. Each one has its own universe. Each one is complete and set in itself, so complete that you can take one of those cells and create another human being completely out of it. They call it cloning, because inside that one cell is everything to create an entire human being. They're all individual units and they all function in one accord. They all function in seamless, interconnected harmony, cells making up organs, making up systems, all in one harmonious symphony. When that symphony is in harmony, there's no sickness. Sickness happens when that starts to lose tune and it goes out of tune and out of harmony. And all the regions where we understand why that happens. But we need to think about, as we build our business, each one of us is like a cell in the body. We function best when we function in connectivity. We function best when we function together in accord. When one falls out of dysfunction, it can corrupt the others because it can become a cancerous cell. So the way how this is built, as we build together, we want to have the mindset that we are doing this as a unit. We're doing it together, and the principles that makes that so are the very principles that make us better individuals. It helps us to become the best version of ourselves, which helps us to interconnect with each other as human beings in harmony together. Why is that important? Because that is the key to success. Not the patches, not the system, the people, you and me. We don't become successful because of the system. We become successful because of who we can become in the process. If we can't grow and if we can't develop and if we can't become better and better versions of ourselves, despite what the product or technology or the process is, we will be limited in how much we can achieve. So the very system must accommodate growth, development, progress, unity. It must have systems and principles built in to harness that collectivity. Because when it does, everybody is going to succeed. When we look at the method and the strategies we're going to talk about, when it's built this way, everyone succeeds. And Super Patch's compensation plan, using this method of doing it, has some dynamics built into it to ensure that this could happen smoothly, quickly, safely, and strong. That's what we have, and that's what we're going to get into. This is not a hierarchy system. Network marketing is a living ecosystem. It's not a top-down structure. It's an interconnected network where everybody supports and feeds off of each other. This is important for us to understand. Why? Because when we understand how volume works and how income works, none of it, none of it happens in a top-down manner. It all happens in an interconnected manner right across the spectrum. So this is not transactional. This is transformational. I'm trying for us to get that there's a different perspective, a fresher, cleaner, better way that is very consistent with the way this system is designed to function. Leaders in a hierarchy, they dominate and they dictate, not in a system. Leaders nurture, they support, and they empower. We have to embrace these things. In the hierarchy, there's a scarcity mindset, only the ones at the top. You have to get to the top, and you have to climb over one another to get to the top. In this is abundance mindset. Everyone can flourish without exception. Now, it may sound foreign right now because most people experience within a network marketing system, that's not the experience. Everybody's not flourishing. People are struggling to make it. And eventually, a lot of us fall out and we quit. But that's because it's not built altogether correctly. And it's because there are mindsets that's driving it that came from the hierarchy system. From the red ocean strategies, we are incorporating that over into this system. And we are in a new paradigm with a new technology, with a new approach, and we need to embrace mindsets that are consistent with it and be willing to abandon the old thinking and the old mindsets that came out of these hierarchy models of thinking, of which the old networking systems, people were, that was the approach. The emphasis in the hierarchy is selling, quotas, performance. Our focus is serving, contribution, and development. People are used for goals. In this one, people are honored as part of the mission. Everything else will fall in place automatically. Success is measured by your rank and your achievements. Correctly understood, success is measured by growth and impact, beginning with personal growth. When it starts with me and with you, it flourishes outwardly naturally. If growth is not happening with me and it's not happening with you, the whole network is a struggle. Remember, it is like the body. Every cell is interconnected and it functions in harmony. What keeps them like that? There's a wireless communication system that all cells, organs, and systems communicate. That wireless communication system really is, we can call that consciousness. Inside of this network, there is a system that knits it all together. And part of it is how we all grow individually and collectively, but there are systems and processes that knits it together, which we're going to talk about. When we engage it, we can all grow. What I'm going to suggest, myself, and I'm speaking for myself and the other leaders, everybody, and I mean everybody, can earn and can make it. The amount of people that are struggling and being left behind ought not to be. And it doesn't have to be when we understand it. So we need to have clarity about the structure. We will not fully trust what we don't understand. So we need to become clear about the structure. When we understand the structure, we will recognize how this system works for us. It does not work against us, not when it's done right. This clarity will instill trust and confidence. It will lead to better conversations, stronger posture, and more inspired action. But we have to understand, we have to be clear about the structure. We may not all quite get it at the beginning, but as we engage, it becomes clearer. The structure reveals the strategy. The model itself is the map. We don't need to be butting about and guessing and trying to figure out how this works. The model itself is the map. If you try to find a location or you want to get somewhere, and somebody says to you, use the map that's inside the car, and you get into the vehicle, you may have the best vehicle, the fastest vehicle, the most technologically advanced vehicle, but if the map is not clear, if you can't read the map properly, you're not going to get to where you want to go to. But the model itself is the map. The compensation plan, which we need to understand, the very community design, the flow of duplication, these things are not random. They're all strategic pathways for how we can grow. And I'm saying that to say you do not just get into this business and hope it works and hope it carries you. You invest into understanding what it is you have. We have to, the understanding of it inspires ownership. When we understand what we have, we can now make it into a reality. Those who grasp the structure, they stop seeing this business as a side hustle, a hobby, a thing on the side that they could. This is going to set, this can set us all financially free. Is that possible? Absolutely, it is. This vehicle can take us to where we want to go. We are going about our jobs, some of us 2 and 3 jobs. We are trying to make life work. We're trying to make ends meet. We're trying to provide better for our families. We would like to know that as the years go by, that we don't end up like the vast majority where instead of life becoming better with time and age, it becomes a slide down the hill, becomes tougher. And we live broke. If anyone, we're going about our jobs and we are using our income to pay debt, which is the majority of people that I connect with. If you're using income to pay debt, you are broke. And if you are broke, externally, you have a disability that's equivalent to emotional stress and is going to contribute to your illness. Not to mention relationship issues and everything else across the board. So do we need money? Absolutely, we need money to live in this material world. And the more we can have of it with the right mindsets, the more meaningful our lives could become, the more options we have, the different choices we can make with it, the better good we can do. So yes, but we will never get there if we are taking income to service debt. We will continue broke till the day we retire. And our social systems, Social Security, NIS, whatever you call it, will never sustain us down the road. This is the pathway that the majority of us go. And if we do happen to save something to put aside, sickness and disease will take it all away and erode it from us. I'm saying we don't have to be this, we don't have to live this way. What Super Patch is offering us is a way how to rise above this. We just have to understand what we have our hands on and understand how it works, have the right perspective, and be willing to engage it by investing our time and efforts into working it. It is for entrepreneurs. It's for people who are willing to engage in business. Why is that important? Because if you only have a job, if you're only an employee, if you're only a consumer of the technology, you will not get to that place of financial security. You need to own something, own business, own investments, own property. You need to be an owner of things that in such a way it will work for you. We need to get to a place where we're not working for money alone, but our money is working for us to multiply without us doing it. That's what we have. And the thing is, the way it is structured, it would happen in a way that no job can do it for you. People hear me say this, people in my team hear me say this. It doesn't matter what job you have, it doesn't matter what your business is as an individual. Your job and your business will not pay you what this will pay you, and in the time frame that it can pay you. Because the way how it is built and structured is built on the very principles that make the wealthiest people wealthy. And we don't understand that. And so we don't know how to use it because we haven't recognized that. And so it's not a hard thing to do. It's just like in an ecosystem that is flourishing. And so we have a simple cycle of how this MLM ecosystem works. And it's a very natural thing. And it's just as simple. You plant, which is invite, share, and educate. You water it, you train, you support, and encourage. We grow, we duplicate, we lead, and we empower. We harvest, we celebrate our wins, we reap the incomes, we deepen our impact. We replant, we raise others, we mentor, we sow into new lives. We're building a team. We're building an ecosystem that is so interconnected that we all can make it together when we understand how this thing works. And so we all started, there's a map, there's a way. I call this the blue ocean wave. And this can take us to where we need to go. So we might have come in. So I'm going to go through all this. I was going to just, you can go through the video. My wife said to me, no, it's too important. You need to read it. So how many of you know Happy Wife, Happy Life, right? You came into the business. You made the best decision to invest into yourself and by extension, into the lives of others. This is all perspective. We need to clarify why. Why? Write your reason for joining Superpatch. The key word in there is write, not think about it. You got to write it down. Writing it is moving it out of invisible into visible. Identify the kind of life you want to create. Align that with purpose, not profit. Profit becomes automatic. Put purpose in front of profit. 3, wear and share. Experience the tech personally. You have to become a believer in this. Consider how it may serve the needs of others and start sharing the benefits. Build your team. 3 is the magic number. Begin building your team and encourage them to step into the culture of growth. Everyone, if we are all on the same page with growth and mindset. The next step, patch power. You possess the power, the patch helps to unlock it. Stay consistent, demonstrate the power of the patch with the balance and stability test that we have. Time to earn. As you continue, repeat steps 3 to 5, you will soon need to set up your account to receive your earnings. Lead and inspire. Be authentic. Lead by example. If we are not doing the things that we would like our teams to be doing so we can earn, don't expect it to happen. Teach the culture of mindset, growth, business, and wealth to your team. Make sure they know that they have the tools, that's what's available to them, what they can use. The more that everyone can succeed, the better everyone succeeds. Who do you know? People across the globe are looking for good solutions for a better life. Keep adding to your list. Money follows. Money follows purpose. People before profits. That's what drives this wave. The more we serve, the more we'll gain. And this is how we can create our preferred lives. This is a pathway now built into this is workshops, trainings, empowerment sessions, things that will help, the undercurrents that will help to drive it. But as we build this culture of success, the very heart of the mission is that we are not just investing in a business, we are investing in people, beginning with ourselves. What makes up the very structure of the network is not patches, it's people. That is the foundation, the framework, and the structure of it all. And we can't lose sight of that. This is a movement of heart-centered leadership where success is measured by the lives we touch, the character we build, and the legacy we leave. In Superpatch, we lead with people before profits, building wealth with wholeness. We're not building an MLM downline. Personally, I don't even like that word downline. I prefer to call it our success line. We're awakening an uprising of people called to take charge of their lives, sovereignty, wholeness, and generosity. This is not just leadership, this is spiritual stewardship. And I want you to know, those of you who may not be familiar with me, when I say spiritual, I'm not talking about some mystical, abstract thing that's somewhere out there that's wrapped in a religious garb. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a part of our very human makeup that gives us the capacity to function and gives animation and life to this body, that allows us to tap into a realm of reality that is beyond the five senses, that makes us capable of being able to create the life we desire. A very real and active and functional part of who we are. We lead with heart and build with honor. People are not prospects. People are purpose. So when I go out, I'm looking for a purpose partner. I'm looking for my purpose partners. I'm not looking for prospects. Success is measured not just by earnings, but by lives uplifted. The human heart is the most valuable asset in this organization. Why? For obvious reasons of life. However, because we're in the wellness industry, there's nothing that disrupts wellness that it originates. Before it gets to the body, it just originates right in the heart. We don't sell, we serve. People say to me, oh, I don't like selling. This is not about selling. It's about serving the needs of people. This isn't about trying to convince somebody to buy your patch. This is about contributing to their lives by offering information without the mindset or without the motive of, I want you to buy or I want you to join. That's not our motive. People before profits. I want to share something with you that will impact your life. And I'm doing it not in a forceful way or not in some clandestine way because I want another number to my group or because I want my commissions to grow. When we do that, it becomes burdensome and it becomes a stress and a struggle. And we pass that frequency and that vibration right across the network. And that's not how it's built. I'm telling us how this can build smoothly and effectively. But it's not the building of it that is the benefit. It is us becoming better out of it. That's the real benefit. How we grow, how we become better out of this. And by extension now, everything just starts to work better. So we're not just selling. Don't see it as selling. It's serving. Don't see it as trying to convince somebody that mine is better or why this. We're just contributing to their lives. We're contributing value. When we become good at understanding what we have, we'll communicate it. And if we are sincere, if we are authentic, and if we are genuine, people are going to be receptive. But if it is we're not even using the patches, and we don't have the experience of it, but we're trying to tell them how good this is, we could be very eloquent and charismatic in our speech, but what will float on our voice is the vibration of insincerity, without us knowing and without them knowing, but they will just pick it up. That's just how it works. And so that's really looking at the heart of the mission. These are, on this side, these are the undercurrents, which we're not going to really get into, but these are the undercurrents that drives this whole ecosystem and make it work. And on the right side is how we ride the wave. See, the nature of life is growth. Everything in nature will grow. It's not even optional. It's either going to grow good or it's not going to grow good based on how we do it. See, growth is intrinsic. It's not for us to resist it. It's for us to get into the flow by aligning properly, and we will grow. When we understand that life works for us and never against us, just like this ecosystem, this network does, it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative, everything is working for our good. We just have to have the right perspective on that. This will all come out in our trainings and our workshops. Awareness is our superpower. What we are not aware of does not exist. But our awareness is what shapes our perspective. Our perspective is how we are interpreting the world around us and how we interact with it, good, bad, or indifferent, positive or negative. So we need to be able to expand our awareness so we can expand our perspective and have a better way of doing it. Someone asked me a couple of days ago, they don't see what perspective have to do with it. And I said to the person, if you have some food stuck in your mouth, between your gums, and you move it around, you move your tongue to try and move the food that's lodged there, you use a little bit of saliva and your tongue to try and move the food away. Is there anything wrong with that? No, no, that's quite natural. I mean, everybody does that. I said, would you now take some of that same saliva and spit it into your hand and then slurp it up afterwards? Oh, Guido. But it's exactly the same saliva that you were moving around in your mouth to move the food. Because you spit it in your hand, it now becomes nasty. I can't now do that. That's perspective. It's no different than what you were doing a minute ago, moving it around your mouth, but you have a different perspective on it, and so now it becomes different. Perspective determines how we're going to do everything and how we're going to engage. See, we are already whole and complete. We just are not aware of it. And so we need to become aware of it. And in this business, just as it is in creation, there is no lack. Everything is abundant. We are not lacking anything. Life is not lacking anything. We are just going to learn how to tap into it. And we also need to be aware of, which is part of our gifting, is that life is limited. We all can expire one day, but we want to make it meaningful. We want to make it impactful, and we want to be able to leave a legacy. We'll know how to do that. On the other side, where we ride the wave, we have to recognize that everything we do in life is because we want to feel good. Every choice and every decision we make unconsciously is because we want to feel good about ourselves and feel good about what we're doing. We can do that. We can have that. This is how we're going to be engaged in this business when we set the framework right. Profits without purpose is empty. And I'll tell you, when we're trying to build this business without being driven by purpose and letting profits lead, it will get to a point where we will eventually quit. But our potential is limited only by our identity. We need to understand who we are. Our sense of self and our sense of well-being, whatever that may be. If it is that we have a low sense of self-worth, if it is that our self-image is rooted in unworthiness and inferiority, unconsciously we will sabotage our own efforts. We do it all the time. People all over always sabotaging their efforts, and we do it unconsciously, but it's all tied to our sense of identity. So we have to up-level that. Remember, we are growing an ecosystem where everybody's going to make it. People before profits always. I'm going to read this one. When we value people, when we serve and not sell, we gain the true currency of sustainable success: loyalty, trust, and goodwill. People are not a means to an end, they are the end. When we are not building a business, we are building people. We are not chasing commissions, we are cultivating connections. The commissions will be automatic. It's not a choice between people and profits. Profits are maximized when people are prioritized. And it starts with who? You and me. People are not our means, people are our mission. All of that was just for us to get a sense where we are going, that we need to have a correct perspective and a right conceptual understanding of the business that we have our hands on, and to know the whys of how it works so that we can engage it with meaning, with purpose, and with value. When we all can connect to this, we will see shortly how it all comes together. Now, the very structure and the earning potential of our super patch business, the entire economic model is based on compound growth. We have to get this, because when we understand this, we will stay the course and we will reap the rewards. Compound growth is the most efficient and reliable wealth building strategy that is known. This is what the wealthiest in the world use their money to create wealth. And our model is built on this. We have to develop a wealth mindset. I'm going to say that again. We got to develop a wealth mindset. It is nothing wrong with being massively wealthy with the right heart and mind. In fact, We want to be that way so that we can make a meaningful and positive difference, not just for ourselves and our family, but the world that we're in. Anyway, we have not been taught how to think about money, how money works, how financial systems work. We've, we have not been taught that, and we navigate the financial world, the financial reality of this world. We navigate it in ignorance and in darkness. That's what I mean by a wealth mindset. That's going to become clearer, not today, but as we build and go through, those are some of the principles that we're going to be bringing to the forefront. That mindset, that understanding. But when it comes to compound growth, it is all about how small, consistent sums multiply into significant amounts over time. It is earnings generating earnings, creating a cycle of expansion. This is how compound, this is why this creates the wealth. The growth is exponential, not linear. The more it grows, the more time accelerates it. This is how our business works. Once it's in motion, it requires less active effort to grow and develop, unlike trading time for money in a job or a brick and mortar business where you depend on foot traffic to come in. It's very different. You get a sense of it when Albert Einstein said compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Let me say this. People who live on credit, hire purchase, borrowing, which a lot of us do, we live broke. As long as income goes to servicing debt, you call that broke. How they make it, this thing called compound interest. When you take out a mortgage for a house that you got to pay for the next 30 years, if you make it to the 30 years, you have paid for 3 houses because it's compound growth. That is why if you're paying your mortgage, you need a strategy to pay it off in 5 or 10 years, not 30 years. You could even have a strategy. We can tell you about a strategy. You can do it in 3 years or 5 years. But you need to have the income, and this is what we have our hands on. Now, just look at this chart here. I know pretty much everybody may be familiar with this. The time is in days, but you can call it months if you like. This is compound growth versus linear growth. I have done this numerous times when I was more involved and more heavily involved into trading, into Forex trading. I used to share this with people, and I would say, if I can give you $10,000 a day, and every day I will give you another $10,000 for 30 days, or I can give you 1 cent and let it compound every day for 30 days. Which one would you prefer? People who are unfamiliar would say, well, it's only 30 days. Give me the $10,000 every day. In 30 days, you've only earned or gained $300,000. 1 cent compounding every day. In 30 days, you have over $5 million. Now, that blows people's mind, but this is how the wealthy become wealthy. It is the most efficient way to build wealth, is compounding. But here's what happens. We start building our business completely unaware of how this system even works. And halfway through the deal, 15 days into this, or 15 months into the journey, you look at the other guy and say, but he has 150,000, I'm just completely wasting my time with this. This thing is a waste of time. I'm done with this. You don't make no money in this. But we don't understand how it works. 20 days into it, he's at 200,000, you're at 5,000. You're saying, okay, I feel a bit better, but he's getting further ahead. But in the next 10 days, you have 5 million. He only have 300,000. That's the power of compounding. The business that we have, the very structure of it, and the income earning potential of it is 100% built on this. And we don't recognize that. We don't understand that. And 15 days into it, we say, I'm done with that. You know what? But we don't understand. This, our superpath business, we have 10 ranks of advancements. Right here, managing director, call this the 15-day mark. Call this the 20-day mark. Call this is the bridge where it starts to accelerate into exponential growth. By the time you get to vice president, I mean, you get on this side of it, this side of the bridge, you start to see exponential growth. You want to cross this bridge. But the entire matrix, the entire network is built on this module. We'll call it a 3X module. The entire network is built on that. Each person invests in empowering 3 others to help them to do the same. When everyone focuses on filling the purpose of their module, the entire team grows and flourishes. Stress-free, duplicatable, and it's going to be well balanced. Follow through with me. Think of each module as its own ecosystem, just like a cell in the body. It's complete in itself. Your goal is to complete your module. Get your 3 people in and make sure that everybody is connected into the system. Everybody is plugged in. Why? Everybody needs to grow. Everybody needs to get roots into the ground. It needs to be watered. It needs the sunlight. It needs to be nurtured. So that cycle, you'll plant it, we're going to water it, we're going to nurture it. And you only have to be responsible, make sure that your module is a complete ecosystem in itself. That's not hard, that's not stress. You and everybody's do that. Think of it in that context, just that way for now. Most people will start this part-time. Part-time is from an associate to director. And a part-time income that you could make as a director, when this is done right, following this method, it could make a difference to any household. So getting to director is getting right to the bank of the river or getting right to the bridge where you can cross over. So we're going to talk about how you can get to the bridge. And then once you cross over here, that is where it starts to become exponential. This is the part where you're saying, I'm wasting my time. That's where you're looking and comparing with other people and not when you should be collaborating. But let's show how it works. And it can work this way for everybody. The mindset. Everybody's module is a complete ecosystem in itself, just like every cell in the body is a complete life in itself, out of which you can create an entire human body. We can create an entire network of success just out of this one. And just like cells in the body, we're going to start, just like how one cell multiplies and becomes 2, and 2 becomes 4, and 4 becomes 6. The body itself grows exponentially. In 9 months, it becomes from 1 to trillions of cells in 9 months. Talk about exponential growth. Just build your module. Just be responsible for empowering and nurturing your module. So let's look at building the director's matrix. So we're going to build it to that level. And you start as an associate. And as an associate, the first thing you must do is that you must become a consumer of the product, because you must believe that this thing works. If you can't believe it, you'll have to pretend it. And that is going to be the beginning of the destruction of the module before you even build it. And the best way, the most effective way, the most affordable way to do this is with the Flex 4, what we call the Flex 4 Starter Pack, where the company allows us to be able to get 4 of the technologies for the price of 3. We'll talk a little bit about that, about the pros and cons of that, or the advantages of that shortly. But we begin as an associate, and as an associate, you're qualified to earn on 1 level of empowerment. You don't have any levels, so you now have to establish it. As you do so, that's how you rank advanced. So you come into the business, and in your first month, your goal should be to create that first level that makes you a senior associate, where you now have your one level. The senior associate rank creates that first level, and it now qualifies you to earn on two, but you only have one. We're going to engage the exponential growth. So with the growth comes exponential income. However, the undercurrents that's driving this is people before profits. That's going to be a mantra as with the principles that follow it. Otherwise, we can default back into the old mindsets until our brain rewires itself to how this thing works. So now here you are as a senior associate. Your income is just $32 from just bringing it, and this is only, we're only talking about everyone is just using the Flex 4. We'll talk about what you can do with this in a little bit. But everyone is just investing $135, consistently using it because you have to build your personal well-being. And you're going to understand this further. And there are ways of how you can do this, how you can use it. But everything is predicated on this. So as a senior associate, you create your first level, you have $32. But you need to grow. So in the second month, which will be your first level's first month, you want them to each create their own module. So by supporting your 3 new associates to advance to become senior associates, by doing that, you create your second level. Now you have your 2 levels. Your earning on 9 plus 3 is now 12. So now you become the team leader. The team leader creates your second level, but it now qualifies you to earn on 3. But you're not going to earn on 3 because you only have 2. So you're going to help and support and ensure that your first level people who should have been well equipped and plugged in, help them to be able to be plugged in, because we are duplicating a system of growth. We're all planting roots. We're all going to water. We're going to make sure that everybody is plugged in to this cycle of growth. And so at this level, your income goes to $145 from 32 by your first level creating their modules. That's a 350% increase. Don't look at the number. Look at the increase. There is no instrument, no financial instrument that exists on the planet that gives that kind of increase. Don't look at the number, because it'll get to a point where you're going to have more income than you need to even have time. Look at the system. By the time you get to team leader, your money should now be supporting your business entirely. You should not be having to look to use any income to keep your smart ship going. Your 135 smart ship should be completely covered by your business by this time. When I say a wealth mindset, this money is not for groceries, it's not for gas, it's only for one thing, for business. Oh, but I need gas. You get it somewhere else, don't touch this. Man, but that is not right. No. I'm talking about a wealth mindset. A wealth mindset says, I'm going to find another way, but you know what? This must be invested into keeping my business. Because a time cometh where you will be so glad that you did. But if you're going to take this income to service something else, you are fracturing what you're building. And you are going to teach. Your module is going to start because it's going to become your language. Otherwise, you're going to have to pretend it. This supports your business. Because as soon as you get here, in your second step, in your second month, you're going to get your email, your Vox email saying you need to set up your account because now you have your debit card. Now you move on. This is your third month. You're going to get to director. As director, you're qualified to earn on 4 levels of empowerment, but you only have 3. But this is what gets you there. When your third level has filled out their module, which will be your 4th level, you have completed your director matrix. Your income is now at $294. That should be supporting your business. Maybe you have a little bit extra that you could probably now put the gas or something, but this is business. We have to have a wealth mindset, and we're going to learn about that. This is the completed director's matrix, where you are earning on 4 levels. We all started right here with 1 hour module. And because we plugged in, made sure everybody was plugged in, we grew to this. And in our 3rd month, we grew to this. And in our 4th month, this is our director matrix. We now have 120 associates in our team, and we all earn it. Now, this is people only using the Flex 4. We have not accessed our online platform where we get 25% of all online. We have not tapped into the digital tools that help us to access that. We have not built a customer base yet. We are just all only consumers of a technology, enhancing our well-being and building each other in an ecosystem of understanding, of value, of meaning, of purpose. That's all we're doing so far. And the average income there is just $612 when you add it up. And that's just consuming. The qualifications in terms of rank qualifications, everybody, every associate, every senior associate, every team leader, everybody is meeting their ranks in here. Everybody is meeting their volumes. Why? Because everything is shared volume. Nobody has to get their own volume to qualify. Your volume is shared with mine to make me, everything is shared volume. That's a phenomenon that we also have to get to understand. And when we do understand how this structure works, we will all plug ourselves in. So far, we're only talking about consuming. We are multiplying consuming. This is the cornerstone of building your business. A sustainable business requires a foundation, and this is the foundation. The foundation is you building yourself, bridging it with SuperPath, how it enhances physical and mental well-being with your Flex 4. Many businesses fail not from a lack of vision, but from neglecting the operational structure that turns that vision into consistent results. So please understand this, that the Flex 4 is your strategic financial investment that represents the backbone of operational stability. This is not so much an operational expense as it is an asset that sustains personal and economic growth. We are building a wealth mindset. If we don't build a wealth mindset and we have a mindset contrary to it, we are going to flounder with this. Some people will say, but what if I can't afford $135 a month? There will be some people who genuinely may not be able to, and there are options of how you can scale yourself otherwise. But I've sat with people who said, I could barely make that. And when I go through with them, they say, oh my gosh, I really can make it. Because we're not thinking, we don't have a wealth mindset of how to build wealth. But I can sit with someone and I'd say, how much are you spending every week? Do you make lunch and take it to work every day? No. The majority tell me, no, I don't. Some do. No, I don't. Where do you get your lunch during the day? I buy it at the canteen. I buy it in the food court. Stop buying it. Take the work lunch. What about your grocery bill? What are you buying in your grocery that is non-essential, just junk, just snacks? Cut it out, put that aside. What are you subscribing to on your smartphone? What things are you subscribing that is of no use to you, that doesn't add anything to your value? Cut it off. This is a wealth mindset. What are you spending money on that's unnecessary? Cut it out. By the time you were done, you know what? I could afford 2 Flex 4s. But you know what? All those things that you thought you need as just does not add value to your life. Put it into something that down the road, in a very short period of time, you would be so glad that you did, and you would have even better than what you cut up. It's a wealth mindset. But this is the cornerstone. You got to look at your life and look and see. You don't say a wealth mindset does not say, oh, I can't afford 135. A wealth mindset says, how can I afford it? What can I do to make sure? Because what this is going to give to me, what this will deliver to my life, my family, and the future of my well-being, how can I make this work? Because right now, we just showed you, we just took you to the bridge. And once we cross that bridge, and crossing that bridge is not even difficult. It's the same thing, same strategy. Once you cross that bridge, you are now entering on the other side where exponential growth starts happening. But we just want to but I'm just showing you, just getting to the bridge, what it can do. But this is the foundation. This is the bonus. Every month I get this bonus. And everybody can be getting this bonus every single month. What is it? You get 2 free packs of patches of your choice every month. Once you have to be on SmartShip, and once you and 3 personally enrolled persons are on SmartShip in the same month, you get 2 free packs of patches. Everybody will be getting this every month. This is a realistic, we did it in 4 months, but let's say it took you 6 months. It took me 4 months to get to director. Let's say it took 6 months. You're investing $135 monthly to get 6 technologies for the price of 3. Because you're now getting 2 free ones. Each pack now costs you $22.50, 80 cents a patch. It costing you $303.20 a day to support balanced wellness in a way your diet and your supplements cannot. And you have to understand the technology to understand what I just said. An investment of $135 monthly at the direct to earn $612, which is just at the very basics, to turn a profit of $477, a return on an investment of 353%. You're talking about exponential growth here. We just haven't crossed the bridge yet. Because time is what multiplies it. But this is not what the focus is. The focus is building the ecosystem in the right way. Why? Because we want sustainability. We want retention, sustainability, consistent growth. That's why we have to build the meaning and the value and the purpose into it, into this strategy, into this. And right now, we have not tapped in to our affiliate platform, which is a multi-million-dollar all in itself, using the digital tools to market across the globe online. We haven't tapped that. And that volume is even added to your qualifying volumes. We didn't even tap that. I hope you're seeing the potential of just us building ourselves in an ecosystem. And so here are some of the income dynamics inside of this model. We're talking about your module, creating and completing your module and making sure that those 3 are also connected because they understand how to be planted, watered, and rooted as well. But there is no limit to how many modules you can have. You can have 100 modules. In the 4 months of which you would have completed this, and this income is based on you just getting 3, you would have been getting 15% on each personally enrolled person and 10% on each of the persons that they enrolled. But this is only based on 3. You could have enrolled 20. So you could have been getting 20, 15% and 60, 10% along with the rest. So this number is just very, very basic. And I tell you, $600 can make a difference to any household anywhere in the world as a part-time income. So, but there's no limit to your enrollments. That's one dynamic. A powerful dynamic is strategic placements. Think of people within your network, many of whom will enroll more than 3. Strategically placing them to build out the ecosystem within the understanding of the concept and the perspective. This is so powerful. You're talking about accelerated growth now, beyond the compounding. You're talking about strategic placements. And let me just say this, by the way, because it has happened. You may come in new and somebody may strategically place 3 under you that you still need to get your 3 to complete your module. They may just have to be placed under someone else or under different people because you can be strategic in it. But your mindset is you must always fulfill your module. That's the standard. This strategic placement is a very powerful dynamic that we have for strong and accelerated growth. Personal profits from personally selling, affiliate online platforms, that's not even considered in this. And these are 3 dynamics here that we have to become aware of because they're also very powerful undercurrents that drives this. Is the synergy of shared volume. Everyone's volume integrates with everyone's volume in the same line of stewardship. I'm not saying sponsorship, I'm saying stewardship. Same thing. No one qualifies on individual volume. No one earns by themselves. Our earnings, our volumes, everything is integrated. That's why it's an ecosystem. This fosters low individual effort and high collective returns. This is supposed to be a stress-free system. It is built and designed to be stress-free. If we all just do our part as a single cell, as a module, taking care of our own environment, our own, and we can have as many of them as we want. And when we become good at just filling one, we can fill as many as we want, and we can do it anywhere across the globe. Now you're talking massive potential. Everyone earns. In this system, SmartShip is an income generating wave. Forget all the other avenues of income. Just with this example that we just showed you. This is not just the backbone. This is everyone on SmartShip is an income generating way where everybody is earning. Because of shared volume, everyone contributes to everyone else's income. This locks us. This is one of the elements that lock us together, that knits us together. It encourages growth, support, value, and it keeps us plugged in. This is sustainability. This is retention. If somebody inside of this matrix, as small as this matrix is, if someone in this matrix decided that they're not going to be on SmartShip or forgot to be on SmartShip, the volume still passes through. They just earn nothing. Doesn't stop the volume. So who will want to not earn? When we have built this correctly with the right mindset, a wealth mindset, the right perspective, and the right understanding, and the right principles of growth, everyone qualifies to rank advanced. When it's done this way, the volumes, because of shared volumes and because of the collective way in how it's built, everyone is rank advancing. As the matrix continues to expand, qualifying volumes are more easily met and rank advancements are easier to maintain as is required in the presidential levels. When we cross managing director onto the other side, where we begin to see more exponential growth, those levels, vice president, and all the way up to the global, each of those ranks, when you meet those ranks, the volume, the qualification must be maintained for 3 consecutive months. People struggle to do that, and it takes a while to catch up. But I'm saying it happens easily. This matrix, and remember, we are not even counting volume externally from other sources that we tap into, like number 3 and 4 here. Those volumes also add to that. So we're looking at a system, a way of building out that is accessible to all of us. The Flex 4, this is the most affordable starting point for enrollees to be able to use the tech and test the business model. Very few people can tell me that they want to do business and cannot afford this. And when they understand how it works, you will want to afford it because of what it is going to deliver to you. Again, the undercurrents that drive it is what you don't see, but what comes within the workshops, the trainings, etc. You order 4 smart ships, you get 1 free, immediate 25% serving. If you order 8, in other words, you could have 2 smart ships, you'll get 2 free. That's a decent rate that you can start with 8 products you have to use. If you use 3 and sell 5, you completely recover your investment in no time. And so this is ideal for those who want to begin small and still have enough product to create with results. It also, when you work this way and test, it also encourages the moving forward to the Flex 40 as you test and see what the potential really is. The Flex 40, this is for the investment minded, those who have already developed a wealth mindset and understand how that works. Because the system accommodates this with added benefits. And we won't get going all the way to that now. But these are some of the added benefits of going for the Flex 40. But the company has given us 2 options. Well, the other qualified kits that they have, those are fine. But the Flex 40, I emphasize that because that's customizable. So you can set it the way that suits you and your reach in terms of being able to move it faster or slower. So it is the best option of all the kits, in my estimation. And the Flex 4, the fact that you can have more than 1 smart ship gives a wonderful option, is a step up from just the Flex 4, which is a very simple and affordable way to get going. This is what we're looking at doing. This is Super Patch's Blue Ocean business. And this is how we can also connect with the company's vision of building something generational that will outlast us and that we can pass on as well. So with that, questions, comments, you can, let me, okay, so you can unmute your mics, or you can put your questions in the chat, whichever one you may prefer. And any questions about anything that we have gone through, any comments, anything that we can enter into that now, or any kind of discussion.
Good night, Dr. Homa, and everybody else.
Good night, Laura.
All my, all our associate partners. With the practitioners purchase, they don't have to sign up. There's no sign up cost for them.
They have to register, but there is no cost to register.
All right. And is there a particular volume that qualifies you to be a practitioner, purchaser?
No, there's no volume per se. The practitioner does not participate in any way in the compensation plan.
I know. Yeah. Okay. I understand that.
So, but if you, if a practitioner enrolls as an associate and then enroll their practice under them, the associate, which is themselves, will get paid on the volume that the practitioner does. So people will buy as a practitioner because the practitioner gets it at like $33. So they get a good low price. And the associate, you get paid on that volume as well. So that's how it would work. But there's no cost to do that.
Okay. Good.
I don't know, Harold or Shobi, if you had anything that you wanted to inject, add, or Lena as well, if there's anything you wanted to.
I just, to the point you're making there, I think people should recognize it in that volume that happens at through the practitioner side goes right up to the associate and whatever is happening above. It becomes that whole integrated volume. So it in fact impacts the volume of the network in total as well.
The whole idea of shared volume, to know that I don't need to create this volume on my own to qualify, to rank advance, to increase my income, it's shared volume. If we just the concept of understanding shared volume, which is what's knitting us together, gives validation and emphasis as to why we need to employ the principles of connectivity and collaboration and collectiveness, because we are all gaining collectively through this network. This is where sustainability is going to be reached. And when we think of the fact that it is borderless and there's no borders to it, it becomes secure. So, any other questions?
So I have a question, David.
Yes, Eva.
This concept that you did was really, really good. I mean, I enjoyed it. It's almost like you know it, but the fact of setting it out like this is really like mind-blowing that you could achieve those levels, with just with the flex kit, right? However, my issue is that and it may be me because it probably has to do with how I come across to other people. In that I have not grown as quickly. I mean, the first 3 months I didn't focus on business at all, but I have that. But apart from that, I have not grown as quickly as I would have liked to, or would like to. And it has to do, and I mean, like I talk to people, I present I send them videos, but people are not, I guess, getting the vision as quickly as I would like. And maybe it has to do with that wealth mindset. And when you said like you sit down with somebody and like say, well, where would you get this money from? What are you doing? Subscriptions, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I've ever done that. Say, well, okay, So in other words, I like training to emphasize or to put more emphasis on that, on um on really how to approach people, or or maybe like, what am I doing?
Let me share. I'm going to share something that happened a couple of days ago with one of the associates in the team. She called me. She's been in about 4 months, and she's built a few people in her team. In the 4 months, just I think maybe just brought in maybe just a couple of people. But she was telling me how it's going for her now. We hadn't spoken in a little while, and she called and she said how excited she was. Now, she's not telling me this. I am hearing in her voice the passion and the excitement. And what got her to that place was in the using of the product. She started out with the interest in using the products for a couple of issues that she had. She has seen how these issues have changed. And she is so excited that that could happen in the way how it has happened, that it has changed her belief in the products shifted to another level. Here's my point. In the beginning, she found that she was not getting as much receptivity. She was telling people about it, she was telling, and people are not as receptive as they are now. She finds that people are so much more receptive. She says, yes, I am speaking better about them now because I have learned now over time, I learned more about them and I can speak better about it. But I suggested to her, the receptivity you're getting now is not just because you can speak better about the technology, it's because of how you are speaking about it now. The vibration that flows on your words, people, because we are all spiritual beings, the vibration that flows on that authenticity is what people sense, and they are more receptive. She could be saying the same words out of just intellectual knowledge and no experience, and it would not have the same impact. What the receptivity is because of the passion, the vibration that's embedded in the frequency of the words. That's why it's so important that you must believe in the technology by personal experience. And you could also lend onto the experience when you share it with other people and you see what's happening to other people. That can give you that believability as well. But there's nothing like knowing personally through your own use. So it becomes better. That's why we must begin by using it and sharing it. Even the Flex 4, you might decide I'm going to use the Liberty and the Defend, which is a good combination to begin with, and I'm going to share the other two. I'll keep one pack to demonstrate, and I'll share it with another one. As you share it with other people and you hear what other people have to say, because the technology works, there's no question about that. How it works with one person to another, it can vary. And that's an understanding that we'll get when we get into understanding the technology and how it works. But that now, when we can speak with that conviction, that makes the difference. It makes all the difference. So when we talk about being authentic about it, apart from being authentic and what's the vibration that flows on our voice from the passion, the excitement, the believability, the authenticity, part of that is our motive for doing it. When people speak to someone and the unconscious motive is, you're not consciously, it's not upfront in your mind. It's unconscious, but the motive is, I'm looking for a sale. I'm looking for somebody to join the presentation. I'm looking for somebody to join and become a sign-up, let me tell you, the motive is a frequency embedded in your words.
I
Just
think that is it, David, the motive, because it's not number of patches, because I use about 6 different patches, and I am convinced that the patches work. Nobody can tell me otherwise, but I think it's really the motive, and I need to look at that.
Okay, so let me say this. We could be convinced, we believe our experience is there, but our motive for it, which is not, if what we just said, it's not people before profit motive.
Yeah.
When it is people, it doesn't matter to me if we go into a dialogue, we meet somebody, and it doesn't really matter if super patch come up or not, because here's the way that here's the mindset that we generally have. Here's the mindset that we generally have, and we get it's what streams through the network. You're going to the supermarket, you're going to somewhere, you meet somebody, and you get into a conversation. You're already thinking how I can swing this around to super patch. You're looking for an opening just to get super patch in.
That is me, David.
That's not just you, Ava. That's a lot of us. This is what makes this burdensome, stressful, and eventually, because we don't get the receptivity, we start to back away. Meet them. You know you have something good. You've experienced it. You go into a place, you run into an old friend or whatever, you're getting into conversation. Because that's not your motive, it will open up to you. And when it does open up to you, your mindset is how you can serve their needs regardless of whether they buy or not, come or not. But that's not it. Because you're not looking to sell a product, you're looking to serve the needs of people. So as they're talking, when this is our posture, I don't want you to hear what I'm saying. When this is our genuine posture, it naturally comes to us. They're going to say something to open the door. But when you're just standing, waiting for it to happen, sometimes you got to knock on the door and force it to open. And the whole dissonance that comes with it goes through. But it doesn't matter. And if the conversation happened to not open the door for it, don't try. Fine, go your way, leave it alone. But because you did that, 5 more are going to come your way, not going to open the door. Because you're operating in the flow of, if you want to call it, it's law. You're operating. So don't let what drives it is that I'm looking for sales, I'm looking for somebody else to join, we are just serving. We're not looking to sell, we're looking to serve people. And believe me, so many people have needs out there, you're not going to come up short of people needing your technology. And when we take that posture, watch and see how we speak more compassionately to other people as to their needs without the motive of I want them to try to convince them to buy. The convincing disappears when our motive aligns. We no longer try to convince, we're simply contributing. What we know, what we learn, what we have, we're contributing the information. That person is going to be more willing to try. And you might even find that, listen to me, folks, when our motive becomes people-centered, you're going to find that when they talk about X issue and you say we have a patch for that, the door is going to open up that they end up buying 5 packs from you. And you might have been thinking all along, this person probably can't even afford a pack. And the motive, the undercurrents of it. That's why this thing has to be built on not just people before profits and people first, but it starts with us, me, you, Don't start with them. We got to get it right first.
Thank you.
Harold, was there something, Harold, that you wanted to mention? Your mic is muted.
Yeah. I'll just let you know that I have another 5 minutes or so, right? But I'll be off in a bit, yeah.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
But just to add what you're saying, there was a person I had introduced to the patches, but the introduction was based on their need. The discussion was about what was going on with the person, and my suggestion that you may want to try this, and that has developed into one pack of patches of one type into another pack of patches of another type, into that person now sharing with other people and getting them involved, and it's all that interconnectivity. But the beginning of the whole thing was purpose. I wasn't there trying to sell a patch.
And that's exactly how it works. There is a question in the chat. Thank you for the presentation. Can we discuss in practical terms the development of a wealth mindset? Of course, that needs to happen because financial literacy is not something that we learn readily in school or unless we went to college or university about it. Many of us are not aware of that space, and so it is something that we will be doing as part of the nurturing and the watering of the plants as we build out the network. So that will come. What you're conveying is well articulated in the book, The Greatest Networker in the World by John Milton Falk. I'm not familiar with the book, but that's absolutely good to know. Hi, Dr. Homer. I use Defend and Liberty regularly. I am known to be a fall girl because and I injure myself for years. With the use of these two patches, I've been very stable, no falling. But I had to miss a couple of days of use due to delay. Guess what? I fell again. Well, I guess a question could arise out of that. What if I've been using it for 6 months, for a whole year, and then I had the delay for a week? Am I going to start to fall in that week, having used it for a year? The answer is not necessarily so, because when we understand how the technology works, this is not just masking symptoms. This is beyond masking symptoms. This is rewiring and reordering neural networks in the brain that govern physiology and psychology. So the longer we use them consistently, the more the brain is going to rewire itself to the new balances. And as long as we, over time, can remove what has been disrupting the balance to begin with, a time comes where there is sustainability. But if what we may be doing in our lifestyles, habits, thoughts, emotions, etc., is not removed, then there will be always need to continuously keep using the patch. Marcia?
Good evening, Dr. Homer. Good evening, everybody. I have two questions. First one is regarding, well, it came out of the strategic placement, right? So I know that you can be placed by, well, persons can be placed below you by someone else, right? But you also said that we should have the mindset that even though if that happens, that we should still be looking for well, not looking, but we should still have the mindset to add our own 3. Does that also mean that if we do not invest in 3 persons personally, that affects our ranking? If you understand.
Not necessarily, it may not necessarily affect your ranking, it will affect your income.
Okay.
So, for example, if you enrolled your 3 and filled your module, you are going to get 15% on the volume of those 3 and 10% on the volumes of the one on their 3.
Right.
Together on those 2 levels, that's 25%.
Right.
If someone placed them under you and you have 3 under you by placement, you are only getting 4% of their.
Okay.
So you're getting significantly less income when that happens.
Okay.
But let's say somebody placed a 3 under you. When you enroll your 3, it doesn't matter where you place them, you still get your 15% and your 10% of their first levels as well.
Okay, great.
Right.
So
volume is not, okay. Go ahead, Marcia.
Oh, the second question is, I remember sometime before you said that we can edit our smart ship. It doesn't have to be the same. How do we do that? Do we cancel the current smart ship and then place a new order, or can we actually?
You can actually edit it. If you go into your back office, it's just simple you go to your My Smart Ship tab, view your smart ship, and there are options there to edit. And you can just edit what they are. You could edit the dates. You can edit, the payment system you're using. So you have options to edit it once you go into view My Smart Ships. There's a tab that says Smart Ship Profile. When you look at that, you have edit options, including editing the different patches.
Okay, I'll check it out again. Thank you.
Who else in here?
On that point, Dr. Homer, with the auto ship, when you can change the date that they want that you want them to ship it, because I did a change to mine, and
Yes.
I noticed that it was shipped the same day that I ordered. Do I have to change the date of shipping?
Yes, if you want the smart ship to come out to be on a particular day and time to when you might have ordered it, you can go in and edit that.
Okay, all right. I just edited the products and I didn't realize that.
Yes, you
Because I
can
noticed
edit.
it was shipped. I thought they had the day that you signed up would have been your shipping day.
Well, if you leave
Okay.
it like that, that is what would happen. It would just
But once
happen.
you change the product, you have to change the date.
No, you could change. No, you could change the product, and it will still be shipped out on that day of the following month. But if you want to change the day, also you can change the date of the month, the time of the month that you want it shipped out.
Okay, all right.
So a person might have come in the 3rd week of a month, and if they didn't change anything, it'll get shipped out the 3rd week of the following month. But maybe you want it earlier in the month. You could go in and set it that in the beginning of the month it will be shipped out. You could change the date as well as change the product. Right? And it's encouraged that for smooth building and other good reasons, that it's good to have your smart ship set at the beginning of the month. But it can be on whatever day best suits your own, financial rotations of things. You could have it set the way you want it. Remember, it's all up to you. And that does not interfere with necessarily flow of the matrix and how it's being built. Shobi, did you want to? Or
Lena has been trying to say something for the longest while.
Lena? Sorry, Lena.
No problem. Okay. Well, Dr. Homer, there we were, a few of us sitting there in Cancun, enjoying an extended breakfast, and we were sharing some of these ideas. And I just want to say that I am deeply grateful to you for putting this all together in such an such a way that is very understandable by everyone. The brilliance in your communication is absolutely unparalleled. And I just want to thank you so much for putting this together for all of us. And your leadership and vision is truly, truly impressive. So that being said, everything you've said is amazing. Now, moving forward in practical terms, where do we go from here? You've given us the framework. Are you going to be incorporating this new system in your Monday night calls, which you normally have called part 2? Is that what you're going to be doing? Or are you going to be giving us an extra training evening so that we can bring new people or even existing associates who are not on the call tonight? Moving forward, what can we expect? How can we best serve our associates? Or are you going to be sharing slides with us? Tell us what we can expect.
Well, and moving forward, well, as far as the Monday evenings go, the Monday evening, which is a business overview, it will, like last Monday, it's going to be adjusted slightly to capture the general concept. We're not going to go into, obviously, all that we would have gone into. That information will be available once you are on board. But the general concept and the understanding of how it unfolds and what the potential is like is all that the Monday is going to give us. Just concept and potential. In terms of implementing it, there are going to be workshops and trainings. And in terms of getting your people on board, the recording of this evening is going to be available. If you may want to have some of your people go over it, if you feel you can communicate it to them with all the points, you can do that, or you could just share the video. And however you share that, whether you do that individually or whether you get them together, have them listen to it, go through, get their questions, etc. That's one way, but everybody needs to be on board. But the trainings and the workshops is going to different aspects, not just super part of the business, understanding the compensation plan and navigating the back office and all those little nuts and bolt things we will get. But what is really, really important that drives it and takes it to fruition and fruitfulness is our posture. The element of personal growth, development, and right mindsets. That's going to be really, really central to it. So there are going to be sessions that speak to that. There are going to be sessions that will also include developing that wealth mindset and how we navigate the financial world, because it really is a big deficiency with many people. For most of my life, even though that I've been an entrepreneur for years, I owned business and I had investments, I still didn't even understand it then. Otherwise, I could even have done a whole lot better than I did in the past. So I recognize it's a mindset that is really needed, and so that will include that. So it's going to be quite comprehensive, but I have not yet determined how often we're going to be doing these sessions, because I'm also wanting to be careful not to overload or not to make it feel burdensome. As it is right now, there are calls every night in the week. Now, while a person may not go on to calls every night, in between there are also upline trainings. There are practitioner calls, which are things that you want to be involved in. So to determine, I'm going to be discussing with my upline leadership about how we think might be best to do that. There also have to be, which I think may have to come in the form of a video, an orientation type session of or if you want to call it onboarding, of how you come on and what are the things that you need to consider in terms of your personal posture, your mindset, understanding, having the right perspective, the right conceptual understanding, and understanding the strategy and the rationale for how it works. The onboarding or the orientation may be a session, and it may be best served as a video where it can be shared with people. So those are things that are in the working that's going to come, and that's how we're going to launch it out. What we did tonight is there have been a lot of people in the team that they're struggling. There are those that want to see it work, but they find it easier to give up than to persevere. And I know it's because we have a perceptual and a conceptual understanding of it that has held us back. And when we were in Cancun to see, listen, there's no reason with what we have our hands on that everybody cannot be making. Just with the simple what we went through tonight. That's pretty simple, and it's actually doable by everybody. And inside of that model, everybody is making, everybody is qualifying, and that model is only people using.
Thing is,
We have not tapped into the other resources that we have yet.
that
So the potential is huge.
I thought this one would have been six.
I think that's Clinton, that's you that's speaking. You were breaking up a little bit.
Finish?
Yeah. When nurses come and tell me she does what her hair sometimes, I just leave her. And she go pick her load. No, that's not she go.
So, Diane, just mute your mic.
Most can't do that, right?
Diane, just mute your mic. Thank you. Shobi, did you have something that you?
Sure. So I love this model because it's so much easier to do. When I first started last year, I was driving more with the kits, which is still an option. Like I did a meeting yesterday and I said that. I said, if you have a clientele, if you have the ability to move inventory, if you have a therapy type of practice, go for it. Flex 40, excellent. Choose the top patches or a kind of, whatever your budget is, right? But again, I was focusing more on trying to show people the money they could make with those kit enrollment bonuses. That was how I was driving with it. And it took me fast through the ranks, but the retention is the issue. And when I saw what you were doing and you look at the price point, I mean, every single person I talk to, I always give them that price point option. I'm talking about new customers, as I did today, going through the price point with them, stressing the importance of those 3 packs. Doesn't have to be those 3, but those 3 packs that you spoke of. Interestingly enough, a lady called me last week, Friday, and she has cancer. Now, I know we don't heal, cure, treat, but we've spoken about how these patches help. Now, I used to market nutritional supplements in the past, 30 years. And there's one product that is tremendous as a nutritional program, which is the Immunical Platinum. It's excellent. So she was asking me for that. She says, I want that. I said, great, not a problem, because I was also selling that about 3 years ago. And then I said to her, listen, get that nutritional supplement, excellent. But here's the thing. She reached out to me. I said, tune into Dr. Homer's session on Sunday. Just tune into it. Listen to what he has to say about the value of these patches. You wouldn't believe this. She called me on the Monday and said, I want to get some of those patches based on your session on the Sunday evening. She understood the value of it, right? So now, of course, she's taking both. She's taking the Immunocal Platinum, which, but she's also talking about using the patches. So knowing the value of the patches and knowing the price point, where you show someone what you sell them retail, what you sell them based on that flex 4 that you call it. And then if you put into the equation the builder bonus when you have 2 people that you personally enroll, and you're getting it for $22.50 a pack, as opposed to 45 US as an associate or 60 US retail. Oh my God. I mean, it's less than half price. So but my only issue right now, Dr. Homer, is customer acquisition is affiliate marketing, which is great. But with the Smart Chip 3 and 4, you get a better value on the second purchase, right? So the challenge I'm having a little bit, I don't know if anybody else has this challenge, is I'm getting people to commit to the 3 and 4 because of the value of the product and the price point. I'm trying to encourage them to say, do you know 3 people? To see how we can build out that model of 3. That's the only way, because everybody knows 3 people. You know what I'm saying? Because they may not be active business builders, even at the 3, but they at least know 3 people who want the product. You know what I mean? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, yes.
Yeah. I thank you for your time, your effort. I know you spent a lot of time putting this together, thinking it through, and looking at the statistics in the industry and retention. And you could even do the math in terms of ranks as to how much new people you need to bring in with your team. I love the approach, and I think it's very, very doable. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Shobi.
Yeah.
In terms of what you just said, the challenge that you're having.
Yeah.
You see, we're going to find as we go through these sessions, the watering the plant, so to speak, sessions.
Yeah.
That mindset, as one of these slides said, everything begins and ends with mindset. Mindset is really going to be everything. And eventually that becomes clearer as we keep going over it. And I'm saying that to say that if I met someone or they came onto the presentation and they said, okay, I want to get these, the Flex 4, let me get started. I could say to them, who do you know? Even if they said, I'm going to enroll and order the Flex 4, get started with that, everybody will have their own way. And this is just me personally, I don't go for that right away. I want them to use it. I know that they're going to be more likely to say, I don't even have to ask, they're going to say, I know so many people that could use this after they have had 1 week of using it. The good thing about these patches is not like a supplement you got to use it for 30 days or 60 days to say, okay, it's working. Within their first week, or maximum within 2 weeks, they're saying, listen, I know this one needs it and so need it. And I don't have to ask them if you know 3 people. They're going to come up with it. And it's going to happen quite organically. That's why I want to do that. And even if they bought it as a customer and did not enroll, that's fine, because a lot of them will also, in fact, they would have had to enroll to get it at that price. So once they do that and they start using it, quite organically, they're going to say, I know somebody who needs. It just carries itself. The product will drive this thing, and we just need the mindset and the undercurrents of attitude, etc., to help it to flow. It's going to carry itself because the product just simply works. If I try, for me, this is just me, I would feel a little bit awkward in saying they just got the package and saying, well, who do you know that we can get this stuff? And they haven't even used it yet to see how it's going to work for them. My thing is, I want them to experience it, and then the rest is easy after that. So that's how I personally do it. So I don't have the sense that I'm trying to push it. I'm trying to force it. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Working on a clock. I need to. So I'll tell you, even for me, I mean, you probably noticed about me, it doesn't matter to me about deadlines, get it done by this time so you can get this qualification. I just let it happen organically because in the long run, in this business, do you know what's missing in this business for most people is not sustainable.
I look into mute it.
Lorraine, just mute if you're going to be having conversations otherwise. For the majority in this business, it's a fight constantly to keep volumes going, to keep things happening, to keep the income happening, to stop it from dropping. It's a constant fight. People get burnt out, people get frustrated, people fall away because of how it's being built. I'm saying that is a way that how it can become sustainable. Now, when it comes to smart ships and things like the Flex 40, the Flex 40 is going to happen. It's just going to happen. Even if you just look at the model we just went through, which is only personal usage, but you're going to meet people. When I meet people, if they're a business person, a practitioner, a pastor of a church, a coach in something, as long as they have reach for people, or people like yourself in Trinidad, where there's a turnaround time to wait for the products to come. These products are so good in what they offer people. You should always have on hand. Always. So having a Flex 40, or even between you and another team member, you split it because the volume will remain within the thread. You can do that, but it's good to always have it. So the Flex 40s are going to go. But the example we gave is even if it didn't go, and this thing built up a year down the road, 2 years down the road, an associate asked me, if you stuck with just this model alone, could you get all the way to the top rank? Absolutely. And perhaps even easier. Less headache, less stress. Why? Because of exponential growth. See, 1 becomes 2, but 100 becomes 200. The bigger it gets, the faster it grows. That's how it works. And it's not just the bigger it gets, the more exponential it grows, but the more exponential your income also becomes. But here's, in the end, you want to be able to sit back a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road. It's business 3 years down the road, which is a reasonable time to see good profits with any business. What you're seeing in 3 years, a regular business can't give you. Most jobs can't pay you. But here's the gift of it. Here's the beauty of it, is that you now have, so you don't have a lot of burden and stress and fighting to keep this thing going. It's more relaxed and it's sustainable, and your income is great. You can now look at financial security. You can now make your money work for you. Let me tell you, earning money does not make you wealthy. I don't care if you're getting 500,000 a year. Earning money never makes anybody wealthy. The only way to get wealthy is when you get that money, take that money and turn it into something that multiplies it. And they got lots of things that can do that. And you just have options, but you need to earn the money so you can now put it into instruments that keeps multiplying it, so that even if you do nothing, all that happens is that your wealth will multiply. And if that's done right, with the right mind and the right heart, and there's nothing wrong in driving a nice vehicle and living in a nice home and going on nice vacations and all that. But what fuels that and what keeps that sustainable also is that the very blessings of your wealth, you're going to use that to further the good of humanity in whatever way moves you. But it starts where? This network teaches us that. This network teaches us that mindset, that heart set, and that way of life. This network, because of how we are connected, not just by volume, not just by smart ships, that creates that wave of income. We are connected by hearts, we're connected by spirits, we're connected by the way we just go about finding meaning and value in living life as a people together. This network teaches us that when the wealth comes, we will know how to manage it and be good stewards of it so that it does not dwindle. Believe me, when we get wealth, if we don't understand, we don't have the right heart set and mindset, the wealth will disappear one day, just like that. Before you know, you'll wonder where it's gone. You will not know how to sustain it and keep it. That's why a lot of people who win the lotto, in no time at all, they're broke again. I don't know if any of you have ever seen the documentary where these NFL players, these football players that get paid lots of money, they get paid millions. There's a documentary on these, they earn so much money. And then after they retire, they come out of football for whatever reason. Within 5 years, they're broke. And they had years of making millions. Now they're broke. They don't have the right mindset. It'll happen right inside this business if we don't get the right mindset and heart set. The day comes where we all want to enjoy the fruits of our labor, and we don't want to be running hard, and we want to enjoy life, and we want to travel, we want whatever. But we want to be able to have our financial stability and security, and we can have that. But we have to find a way to increase earning and learn how to manage what we have already in the whole process. That requires mindset, heart set, attitude, perspective, vision, all of what we're going to learn. Those are the undercurrents that drive this. Super patch don't drive this. Patches don't. Patches are part of the current that makes it move. And thank God they work the way they work. But for it to be sustainable, that's what we want. Sustainability. I'll tell you this, there are people in networking companies, the majority, that if they stop the aggressive running and fighting with it, the income will do this. It'll start dwindling. No sustainability, no strong foundation. I am not going to waste my time investing into this, investing into people, investing into building this up, only to have to fight to just keep it sustainable. When you build something right and you build something of value, it should be sustainable. And this is what we have. We just got to do it the right way. And what we rolled out this evening is just some of the very principles and concepts and the perspective of how we can go about doing it. I told Suzanne, my wife, I said, how is this going to work? You know, it'd be nice to see. I said, listen, it's a year and a half. It's going to take a year and a half, 2 years before this thing actually takes. Before this is set and this is now culture. This is the culture. This is what people are doing. It's going to have to be repeated, gone over. People, before you end up with a culture where this thing is actually flowing and working. I know it's going to take me time, but I'm willing to invest whatever, trainings, investments, workshops, whatever, saying the same thing over and over again, because I know it takes repetition, that we have to rewire our brains to get to a point where, oh, okay, I got it. And now it becomes engagement. Now it becomes fluent. It's no longer I got to try to make it now becomes fluent. It takes time, but we'll get there. But we have to have the willingness, we have to have the commitment. And for us to even commit like that, we have to understand what we have our hands on. People who know investment and know wealth, they know that compounding is the way to build wealth. But most people don't understand that networking is built on compounding. It's based on that very principle. And so, yes, there are people that are massively wealthy out of this business. And there are a lot of them, the vast majority are fighting to maintain it. And it needs not be that. It need not be that. So, guys, let me tell you, what Super Patch is offering us is second to none. It's not just a blue ocean business that's one of one, and it's not just offering a technology of which there's none to compare, and it's not just offering the world a new approach to wellness, health, and performance. It is offering us an opportunity that where we can cultivate a culture of functioning and operating this thing where everyone, and I mean everyone, will benefit. And it will be sustainable. But we have to have the right mindset and attitude about it. If we run profits and it's all about the money, it is going to be a struggle. When it follows people and purpose, it builds without the struggle.
Man, I wanted to say thank you so much, Dr. Homer. This was an amazing presentation, and I know it's something that we can do and something we will do with this right mindset. One question I was trying to remember, what point do you have to reach when you said you can get two patches free?
You and 3 people that you have personally enrolled
Yes, I want to tell you that today.
in any month that you're on SmartShip.
Mhm.
And in this model, everybody is on SmartShip. So once you and 3 personally enrolled are on SmartShip in any given month, you get 2 free packs of patches of your choice. You receive an email from the company for you to go into your back office and select your 2 free patches. In this model that we just showed, where it's just personal usage, everybody is getting 2 free packs because everybody's on SmartShip. And everybody have their module. Once you and 3 are on SmartShip, you get your 2 free packs.
Thank you.
David, I would say don't depend on that email. I never got an email. What you do is you look at, never got an email from, never. So what you do is, what I do is I look for the first week of the month. So for August, for instance, I look the first week, go into your back office, look under featured products, click on builder's bonus, and execute. Do not depend on emails. In the first week, search, go on to the back office, featured products, click on featured products, click on builder's bonus, and see the eligibility. And it says you're eligible and get your 2 free packs. I'm just saying, don't depend on that.
Okay, but I think, Sobi, you should email customer service and let them know about that because you should get your email.
I did. I get emails from the company, but I've never got an email on the builder's bonus.
Right. And
Even
by
though
the
I've got
way,
it. Yeah.
that's important because when you receive the email, I mean, I get the email each month. When you get the email, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you have 1 week to claim it. And if you cross that window, you've lost
You
it.
don't get it.
They send you an email, you've qualified for your pay, and they give you 1 week to go in and place the order for it.
But what I'm saying is I missed it so many times because it didn't occur to me. I knew I got it, but I kept waiting for this email. And then I called the company once and I said, I was supposed to get the 2 free packs. And they came back with, sorry, the timeline has gone. So you gotta track, you gotta go in quickly.
The thing is that once you have a handle on your team, if everybody's plugged in the way they're supposed to be plugged in, you'll know. So when you get an email or not, you can just go in and do your builder's bonus and you'll get it.
Yes.
And you'll know if you go and you didn't qualify, you'll know you didn't qualify anyway. So
right.
But yes, it's something that every month you'll get 2 free packs once you and 3 personally enrolled are on SmartShip.
Right. Yeah.
Now, I know there would be some people who may say, because of financial constraints, I have to start with the 2-pack SmartShip. That's fine. But you are going to be missing out significantly in different ways. Even if you start that way, you need to upgrade to the Flex 4. And if you're using the Flex 4 correctly, and you are engaging your business with the right mindset, whether it is you're using the digital tools to access the online platform or not, that Flex 4 takes you to where you can consider the Flex 40. Because the Flex 40 is a tremendous option in building effectively and building fast as well. Someone, Chester, how do you get a copy? Are you speak? If you mean a copy of the tonight's session, just you can just request it and from your upline or from me directly, and I would you'll get a copy. So I think that our time has been well spent. I would like to encourage, if it's possible, that it would be good to go over what we went through this evening, because what we went through, it really was a lot of information. And particularly when it comes to the undercurrents that drives the wave, that makes this blue ocean wave move, the mindsets. Of course, the rubber will meet the road when it comes to the workshops and the trainings, etc. But we need to have the conceptual understanding and the right perspective of it. And that is not going to happen just off the bat. Just like when we represent the super patches, we still represent this new technology and this new paradigm based on an old mindset thinking of a pill for a symptom, as opposed to your body doing it itself. We still talk about the patches, and I'm just saying generally, not anybody particularly. There is still that general mindset when we speak about the patches, like it is an option to that, as opposed to the patches supporting the body to repair itself. That takes a while, and we say, okay, we got it now. But at the beginning, we're still speaking about it with the old mindset. The same thing will happen in building the business and rolling out the model. We have to, anything new that we set out to do, period, in life, regardless of what it is, our brain has to create new neural networks for that new habit or that new thing. And when it has hardwired it, then it becomes, second nature. But we have to go through that process, and it happens through repetition. So it is something that we all need to highlight it. Don't wait for these sessions. If you can go over what we went over tonight, if you took your notes, review your notes, ponder on it, think about it in the context of the value of what this business is offering us to change our financial futures. While it is good in serving people and building ourselves personally, etc., in the end, the bottom line is we are trying to get to a better and more secure financial future. And this is just a vehicle to get us there. Let me close with this. Super Patch is not your purpose. Super Patch is not your goal. Getting to vice president and president, that's not your vision, that's not your goal. Your vision, your goal, your whole purpose about it has to be for your life, your families. What gives meaning and value to the very reason you get out of bed and go about your daily life. If you're not clear what that is, you need to crystallize that. We will have sessions for that as well. We need to do that. Super Patch becomes the vehicle that helps you to get to that reality, to that preferred life. Super Hat is the vehicle. And within using this vehicle to get there, we set our targets, we set our goals, and the thing is, it happens so organically when it's just done right, without the fight and without the stress. That's right. That's right. It's the absolute best business model, and Super Patch is the best business that's using this model right now in the world. How do I know that? I don't really know that. They got 1,000 of these businesses in the United States, and they say 6,000 to 10,000 worldwide. But I would bet, I would like to see one of them come alongside Super Patch. And the reason why I can say it is because we are blue ocean and they're red ocean. They're fighting for market share. They're fighting and they're in price wars. We don't even have that. This thing's supposed to be stress-free, and we can make it so. So I am available to work with anyone in the team to help them to move along. Our sessions, I'll announce in time to come when we're going to start our sessions. One of the places that we're going to want to start with is building vision. being able to cast, because you need to be able to help your people to be able to cast their vision. Believe me when I tell you that a lot of people are not clear on why they're going about life. We just go through a day-to-day routine existence of trying to make life work. It's not an intentional engagement in life for a specific purpose. And even those of us who have that and we are going about life intentionally to get to a particular place, it is not about the place we want to get to. Because here's the deal. Every step of the journey to where it is you want to get to must be one that's enjoyable. It must feel like this is worth it. It must feel that like I'm enjoying every step of the journey. Just in case I don't happen to get there and I reach my finish line, I need to still be able to say I enjoyed the life I lived. That's how we're supposed to do this, that every step of the way was worth it and it's an enjoyable journey. And it can be. Take that and put it into this model, into this concept they call network marketing. Just like Jay said, one of Jay's talk in Cancun, he had a slide where he said, the sky is not the limit. You know that saying? The sky is the limit. The sky is not the limit. Your mind is the limit. And that is going to be more true. And it just so happens that our mind is limitless. That is what we have. So we don't need to be scratching around on the ground like chickens. What we have, we are all eagles. Whether we just may not be aware of it fully, but we are all 100% massive eagles. Vibrant eagles. And we have wind beneath our wings with this. And we got each other. And we have support. We couldn't want it better. We really could not want it better. We just got to set our minds in the right place. So with that, folks, thank you very much for coming out, staying the course, taking the time for your questions, your input. Really get with your leaders. New people, lean on your leaders, even if it's going to cause them to have to level themselves. But we got to work together. We got to put the pieces together. But we see what we have our hands on. I think that we got enough to see that what we have on is not ordinary, it's extraordinary. It's not hard, it's doable, it's simple, it's affordable. What reasons could we not make it work? People have far more than this and they can't make it work. This is workable. So folks, thank you very much. Let me see. I think we need a few more of these sessions before we teach the launch. Thank you very much. Really enjoyed the session. Arlene, thank you. Well, guys, check your chats.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maura. Check your chats for the sessions, what they have going on during the course of the week. My personal sessions are always going to be Sundays and Mondays. The Monday session, which is going to be the business overview, it's going to be probably just slightly tweaked to incorporate this new conceptual and just the understanding of the concept really and the potential, but it won't be any major adjustments except that. And we'll continue going. So thank you very much, folks, and you have a good night. What is today? Today is Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of the week, and I look forward to seeing you guys and your guest on Sunday and perhaps on Monday as well.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay. Wendy, great. Thank you. Blessings to
Thank you, Dr. Homer. It was excellent, excellent, excellent. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you.
You're welcome, Gemma. Thank you as well. Good night, everyone. God bless you all. And let's keep moving. Let's keep riding the wave. Blue ocean. Blue ocean.
Good luck,
All right,
everyone.
guys. Okay, good night.
Good night.